Okay, welcome back to Banishment, Joanna's favorite place to be besides Hawaii and Japan. She did write it down.
Remembered.
Oh, Jody, are you joining twice?
You know what? I'm trying to join on my laptop easier, but I've been having trouble, so I'm sorry for the delay, everyone.
Well, it's cool. We couldn't even get you to join once. Now we got you twice, so.
Twice. So when I say Jody, it's time to vote. I want each Jody to send me one vote. Okay, great. So let's get into it. You guys know the flow of things. I'm going to ask some questions. We're going to talk for a bit. Then it will be time to vote. I'm going to say I feel nervous. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to ask tonight. It's just such a crazy night. But I do want to begin with talking about the superlatives because I think that challenge can really stir the pot, and it's come a lot later in this season than we have in previous seasons, which, you know, it can be challenging to rebound back from, or it can really help you out. So, of course, Scott, I'm going to begin with you. Were you surprised to see your name for, let's see, strategic, lied the most, running the game? Yeah, those three.
No, I was not surprised. Running the game was surprising because that's certainly not how it feels in my stomach and my sleep patterns. But I wasn't surprised by the rest of it. I think it is an identity that I cannot shake. And I think it was just an easy choice for people.
So I have to ask, though, it is interesting of like you being voted or you winning lied the most, because yes, you could say that that's like a oh, wait, let me bring the jury in. Jury, come in. I'm so sorry. I always forget. Hi, beautiful jury. Okay, so I'll continue, Scott. So lied the most could be seen as negative, but also could really be seen as an asset, because you might want to be sitting next to a person who lied the most at the final banishment because you think, oh, no one's going to throw votes their way. Are you feeling the negative impact of it, or do you see positive in that superlative?
I think I've kicked around by now every scenario and have tried to interpret every way somebody could have looked at that question and how they could look at it going forward. So I will just look at the things that I've done and the things that I've said and feel confident in that, and that's how I'll move forward.
Jody, you also got stabbed in the back along with Joey. Were you surprised to see that one? How did you feel seeing that you had won that superlative?
Yeah, the game is like difficult in that sense. Sorry, I have like audio and other audio. Sorry. Oh.
Audio.
All right, I'm exiting out of my computer. I'm so sorry, everyone. Yeah, it was weird because I got most likely to stab you in the back, and then also someone you'd want to be stranded on an island with, and I'm like, those are just kind of conflicting for me. But I was a little bit surprised. But now that I know that the jury also had a little say in the game too, maybe I'm not so surprised.
Okay, and were you relieved, though, having won that superlative and then winning immunity, because that perception could continue?
1,000%. Like, knowing that I got the majority for that, and also knowing that this is a double back-to-back sort of banishment, or not, it's just two people going home. It's super nerve-wracking, so I just feel so lucky.
So, Katie, you were nominated for Most Strategic, which, again, could argue it's positive, could argue it's negative. Normally near the, or wait, not strategic,
No,
sorry.
I got the opposite of that.
Intelligent. No, you got intelligent. And
right.
Near the end of the game is often when we see puzzles. So are you concerned that winning Most Intelligent puts a target on your back, as you could then just win the last few challenges?
Well, I mean, I was also on the drastic losing of that Sudoku. So I feel like, you know, people are going to think what they're going to think. And I did win both Most Intelligent and Most In Over My Head. So like, you know, there's a lot going on here. I feel like I have a range of strengths and weaknesses. Obviously winning challenges, I guess, yeah, is maybe not ideal at this point in time, unless, you know, I make it through tonight and then I win and then I'm fine. So, yeah, I mean, obviously I'm worried, but I mean, you know, I'm so sure for my head, who knows what'll happen? I don't.
Yeah, I don't believe that last part, but okay. So Joey, you also got, it seems like everyone kind of got like conflicting ones. Were you surprised to see what you had been nominated for?
No, I think like what Jody and Kay said, yeah, I got conflicting ones, but I think I tied with Jody for most likely to stab you in the back, but with Tommy for most likable. So, uh, so yeah, right. So a likable backstabber. I don't really know. I think it's like you said, there was fewer of us. I think a lot of us just didn't know what to do in some of the categories, or they were tougher calls. So no, I don't read too much into the superlatives. Too much. Into the superlatives.
Yeah, because I also have to ask, it's interesting that you got stabbed in the back when you were on the OG Royals. Your OG Royals are no longer here, so I'm wondering who people were feeling that you were stabbing in the back.
Honestly, that I thought that part did surprise me. Like, I think because I didn't understand necessarily who specifically of the people remaining, but like Jody said, the jury voted too, so maybe it could be something like that. I don't really know.
So Erica, you got one of the enigmas. You and Joanna got that. Were you surprised to see yourself nominated for that?
No, not necessarily. It is something I've been used to for a long time. So I think because I have a lot of weird and niche interests, a lot of people don't know what to make of that. And I do tend to be a little bit more on the quiet side. So I think it was to be expected.
Joanna, were you surprised? Because I would argue that while Erica might be on the quiet side, you are not on the quiet side. And I think, listen, quiet and loud, to me, both good connotations. I love a quiet, I love a loud. So I don't want you to think I'm being like, that's a bad thing, because it's not. But you are on the opposite end of the spectrum. So I'm wondering why do you think people put you down as an enigma?
I mean, that's a good question. Why'd you guys put me down as an enigma? I really don't know. I mean, like, I could speculate and say it's because I'm super busy during the day and maybe I'm not in Slack as much, but I try to tell everyone like what I'm doing, but no one can be trusted in this game. So people may not believe what I'm doing is what I'm actually doing. I mean, I literally put a picture in of me driving today. I'm gonna get in an accident because I need to prove to these people that I'm actually doing what I'm saying I'm doing. So I don't know. That's a good question.
Photo evidence. Tommy, did you vote for Joanna as Enigma?
I don't remember what I voted, to be honest, Kelsey. I don't remember.
Okay, that feels like, okay, I'll move past it. Okay, so why do you think that people put you down as one of the most competitive?
Me?
Yeah.
You know, I blacked out yesterday. Anyway, most competitive, I think, I don't know.
Where's that perception coming from?
I don't know. I'm having a hard time, Kelsey.
Okay. So Tommy, I'll ask you another question.
Right. Okay, I'll be ready for this one. Okay, I'm focusing.
There are three flamingos. You know, and if y'all were to make it to near the end, do you feel like you can each differentiate your game from each other? Is that something you're concerned about?
That is something I've thought about, but at the same time, I think I have enough to say that will different, because we have like, even if people don't see it, we have all three played very different games.
But all three of you have been on the same team the entire time. Whereas I could argue for the Buns, they've been split up, so it hasn't really retained the same sort of sense of sameness on the same team as the three Flamingos have.
Well, Kelsey, if all three of us make it at the end, I can explain myself a little better.
Okay, so so you're not concerned is what you're saying.
I mean, it's definitely crossed my mind, but in the same way, I'm thinking ahead of if we do all make it, if we don't all make it. It's been on my mind, it has.
Okay. Scott, do you feel that Tommy, Erica, and Katie have played different games or similar games?
I mean, I have no insight into what went on the first week when we weren't together. And since we've been on the same team, the vibes have all been really good. So I do think it's a fair assumption people could make, but also I know them all as very different people. So all of that kind of stuff plays into how you look at the end of the game.
So Joey, do you think that there will be any contestants tonight besides Jody who has immunity who get 0 votes?
Get 0 votes. Yeah, I think that that's mathematically possible. I think so. I think that there'll probably be like clusters of them, and so yeah, I think that that would be possible with 6 people left. That there would be there could be one other person who got 0. But I definitely do think it's going to be a weird spectrum, and I'm definitely expecting to see my name written down.
So Katie, are you concerned about, Nicholas famously mentioned that there were 2 other things potentially floating around. Are you concerned about seeing those come into play tonight?
No.
Why not?
I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I suppose if there's this mysterious clue too, then sure, maybe. But I mean, everything else, I think I know where they are, so.
And you don't think those things that you know where they are going to be played tonight?
No, I mean, I'm fully open to there being stuff that I don't know that I will be surprised about, but based on what I do know, I don't think those would happen tonight.
Interesting. Okay. So Jody, I am curious, these 2 mysterious things that are floating around, it is 2 votes tonight, and it is the top 2 people. How do I phrase this? Do you think that everyone will be staying here tonight to vote because each vote counts, and maybe disregarding just to make sure their vote counts?
You're assuming that someone could possibly have safety without power?
I'm making that assumption, yes.
Well, yeah, I think we know that's a possibility. I think that's definitely out there because, as Katie was saying, there are advantages we know to be true, and there's so little of us left that I'm pretty sure I've talked about those advantages with every person on my team. And I'm assuming they have too. I can't look at their faces right now because I'm on my phone and I can only see you, but I think that it's a possibility for sure.
That we could see them be used.
Yeah.
Okay. Joanna, how important is it for your 2, how are you figuring out whether to use your 2 votes on the same person, splitting them? Did you kind of run through different scenarios of how the votes could work?
I was in Topeka, Kansas today, guys.
So do you know who you're voting for tonight? You don't know. So Joanna's votes are up for sale if people want to slide into your Slack DMs.
Please don't slide into my Slack DMs, guys. I'm stressed out.
So do you know who you're going to write down?
No, I'm hoping that you can give me insight with your awesome questions.
Okay, well, I guess that also means that the contestants can maybe speak a little bit more freely if they want to help convince Joanna, not via Slack DM, but via verbally for where her vote should go. Joey, did you plan out the different scenarios of this is what could happen if people put 2 votes, 1 vote, that whole sort of a thing?
I tried. I went to law school to avoid doing math, so it was kind of a challenge. But I definitely I tried. I tried to figure out where things could possibly go and figure out what the different outcomes are. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it depends, right? Because I can see the reason why someone 2 votes, it's more certain. That's a lot on a person. But then that's only 2 people are going home, so I see the pros of splitting too. So. I don't know.
Sure. Scott, have you, as most strategic, have you planned out the different scenarios that could happen?
I think we all did. I mean, I think once we finally wrapped our head around just how complicated tonight will be, I think you have to start making some charts just to even feel like a little bit of control, even though we know none of us really have control.
So Erica, we're getting so close to it. The final banishment is this weekend. Are you starting to think about, I touched on it earlier with Tommy, but like, are you starting to think about who do I have a good chance of winning against if I'm sitting next to them?
Yeah, I mean, I think, if you're not thinking about it at this point, then, I think that doesn't set you up for success. But yeah, I think the moment we merge, it's all about just planning out every step and, constantly thinking about how each movement is going to be read. And because, there is a lot of stuff that happens kind of behind the scenes that, like on Slack, that you don't see on Zoom. So, it's always a question of what juries will read and pick up on.
So you're saying that jury members might also go back and cite Slack stuff, or that in the final banishment, contestants might bring up, oh, I was doing this via Slack. That's how it manifested as a game move.
I mean, I feel like, we're on the beach for like 11 hours, 12 hours, and there's so much that happens within those hours. And I feel like not all of it can translate to a single Zoom. So, it's a matter of what's visible and what's not, I guess.
So Katie, I'm gonna, you said it once, so I'm gonna bring it back again, the like making friends of it all.
Oh yeah.
But I do want to ask, in this game, I currently cannot offer $1 million to the winner. I would love to do that, but I just financially can't make it work. It's crazy.
Sure.
But because we don't have that, affect how you are playing? And maybe you're like, oh, I want to make less crazier moves, backstabby moves, that sort of thing, because there isn't that money on the line.
I definitely have wanted to. Okay, I will say this. I've wanted to make as genuine connections with everyone as I can, and additionally feel like I can make certain game moves without that being affected, but I have tried to lie as little as possible, even if that has meant using very precise language so as to not be lying while perhaps presenting an idea that is in fact different than what I mean.
Interesting. And are you having Joey look over the language just to make sure any loopholes?
Oh, no, I also work with contracts all day. So like this is.
Okay, great. This is your
yeah, this is where I'm comfortable.
Media.
Yeah. Math and language. So
Tommy, is that something you are concerned about, or is that something you made a decision about before you started playing the game of like, this is how much I'm going to lie, this is how much I'm not going to lie. If I get to this point, I will allow myself to do this, that sort of thing.
Right. And it's all depends on like what kind of lie and what is at stake. Because I don't want to hurt people's feelings, but at the same time, maybe I am competitive and do want to make it far in this game.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so you're laying it
So
out.
it's like both. It's like it depends. Like, is the lie worth it? You know what I mean? Like, is it worth it? Maybe.
So Scott, I am going to ask about that because, jury has to make a decision at the end of the day. They have to hear the cases. Are there ways for lies to then be interpreted well as like, you lied, but I see what you were trying to do there and the intention behind it? Are lies right now forgivable to you?
I think it's hard because it feels like a lot of times people will entertain multiple offers throughout the day until it becomes time to make a decision. So at some point it's like, was that a lie or was that just brainstorming? And then you made a decision and it was not the one that I hoped you would make. So I think in that way, I do forgive a lot of it. I mean, we know it's not personal. We know nobody's being malicious. So yeah, I think you can forgive a lot.
Okay. So Jody, the 5 the 5 new royals, you're all still here, plus Joey and Joanna. Is it as simple as let's retain that new royals and then next challenge we just have to turn on ourselves?
No, you got to think about original team lines too and overlap that there's there as well. Also, who knows what kind of relationships people have made since we've merged and stuff. I wish it was all black and white, but it really isn't. It's never in that game, and I think we've kind of all learned that over time. So yeah, definitely not.
Joey, do you feel like there are, I'm going to go back to the lying thing. Do you feel for you as a person, are there any that would be so unforgivable that say you were on jury, you'd be like, I just can't vote for you because you did that thing. You lied so egregiously.
I don't know. I think I'm a person who like I don't really necessarily see my emotions coming. So like maybe so I don't think I would know until it happened, right? Like if someone I felt backstabbed me and then it happened, then I would be upset. But there's a chance I could get over it. So honestly, I can't make any promises either way.
Okay, you don't see the. I like that. I feel I identify.
You know what I guess? Yeah. Hopefully that made sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that does make sense. Erica, it does look like your wheels are turning. Are you still feeling good about your plan?
Enigma. Let's go with that.
Okay, so the wheels are turning, but you won't reveal in classic Enigma style. Okay, great.
Sure.
Great. Let's go with that. I don't really have more questions. I also don't know how this vote will go. I want to clarify as far as ties, how that would work. I know some of our fans were very curious about that as well, as say there's a person with the most votes and then second place there is a tie for 2 people. The person with the most votes would be going home, but they would be factored in for the revote between those 2 people. If it's a tie between the 2 top, both those people are going home. So there's no revote if there's 2 top ones. So just want to clarify that. Are there any questions? And if you don't feel comfortable asking, you can Slack me regarding that. I just realized I should maybe clarify that. Otherwise, I think it's time to vote. Katie, please Slack me your votes.
Okay. I don't know what's broken in my brain, but this was a fun banishment tonight. I had a great time.
I think it's broken.
Erica, please Slack me your votes. Scott, please Slack me your votes. Joanna, please Slack me your votes. Joey, please Slack me your votes. Jody, please Slack me your votes. Tommy, please slack me your votes. Okay, I'm going to count the votes. Okay, now before I read the votes, does anyone have an idol they would like to play? Okay, I'm going to ask you to take out your phones, please.
Erica.
That's cool. Fancy.
Lots of color.
Yes.
Okay, so bear with me as I read these because we've never done like a double vote thing. So trying to figure out the best way to read these.
I'd just like to say that the jury looks really serious. Were you guys like told to be very serious? Or is it just normal right now? It's freaking me out, Micah. Are you frozen?
Okay, first vote, Scott, that's one vote, Scott. Second vote, Scott, that's 2 for Scott. Third vote, Katie, that's 2 for Scott, 1 for Katie. Next vote, Joey, that's 1 for Katie, 1 for Joey, 2 for Scott. Scott, that's 3 for Scott, 1 for Katie, 1 for Joey. Joey, that's 2 for Joey, 1 for Katie, 3 for Scott. Scott, that's 4 for Scott, 2 for Joey, 1 for Katie. Katie, there's 2 for Katie, 2 for Joey, 3 for Scott, 4 for Scott. Scott, 5 for Scott, 2 for Katie, 2 for Joey. Joey, 3 for Joey, 2 for Katie, 5 for Scott. Scott, that's 6 for Scott. Joey, that's 4 for Joey, 2 for Katie, 6 for Scott. Scott, that's 7 for Scott. And last vote is Joey. Scott and Joey, you have been banished. Your quarantine is up. I'm going to go to Scott first. Scott, do you have anything you'd like to say?
This was not a surprise. It has been a real delight playing with all of you guys. I'm looking forward to actually eating again and maybe sleeping again. But the jury will be fun, and I hope you guys step it up.
Scott, my favorite weasel in the whole wide world. I'm totally kidding. You are not that. I don't feel you're that whatsoever. We will rehab your persona after this, I promise. You've been so much fun to have in the game, and it has been so much fun getting to know you, getting to text with you about what is cut for time in your confessionals. Marissa and I always enjoyed that. So thank you so much for joining us, Scott. You will be the 4th member of the jury. Joey, is there anything you'd like to say before you go?
Yes, always. Okay, so because Scott got out first, that means that I am a lovely 5th alternate, which has always been my dream come true. So I would like to say about this is that as a child, I didn't always fit in growing up and stuff. So for me, reality television was always a safe haven. So, but the problem was every time I watched reality television, whenever they depicted queer people on TV, either the queer people were either perceived as the butt of the joke or perceived as someone who was really sneaky and untrustworthy. So I just wanted to thank you all and the producers and everyone for casting a spectrum of queer experiences and things to just show people, that we're not all one person and we're not all one different thing, because representation really does matter. And Elphaba says in Wicked, everybody deserves a chance to fly. So we need to just continue to do what we can to include and create diverse and inclusive environments and do that for everyone. I wanted to thank Brian, who is my boyfriend. I'm so glad I got to share this experience with him, and thank you for letting me have like these couple weeks to do this crazy experience. It was so worth it. And thank you for also letting me like bother you a million times a day, where I kept asking him, do you have any hidden immunity idols or anything like that? So he was wonderful. I want to thank my family and my friends and everyone for watching, like for all their support, and the producers and everyone for letting me fulfill my dream, because I never thought I was going to get to do something like this. And it was a huge, like, great break from binging reality television and movies and reading books and everything. And I got to do everything I wanted, like, on my bucket list. I was telling Kelsey this the other day. Like, I never thought that, I got to get sent to exile. I got to find a hidden immunity idol. I got to do an endurance challenge. I got to do a double banishment ceremony and, like, somehow made it through that. I got to go to rocks, and now I get to be part of the jury, like something I never thought I was going to get to do. And I also wanted to say, oh, sorry.
I'm just going to let you know, when you're on jury, I will be giving you a time limit. Continue.
Oh, yes, definitely. And you definitely will need to. And I tried out last season. And so if there's anyone out there who didn't like make it before and they need somebody to like, keep doing it, like you need to try, like believe in yourself, like you can do this. And I wanted to thank all my fellow players. Like I really do love all of you. And now that I have been backstabbed, I can tell you I don't feel that bad about it right now. I do love all of you. They always say like, do not make strangers, talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm very glad that I did with all of you. But you guys do need to make the rest of the game more interesting. It is very boring as a viewer right now. So please make it more fun from the top 5. And because I always end my confessionals with a bunch of like PSAs, so my last things are always going to be that as Kelsey pointed out yesterday, this is a Black Lives Matter show, and we have to just remember that all lives cannot matter until Black Lives Matter, and that has to include our Black trans members of our community.
That's
we have
right.
to remember them. And we also just say the pandemic is not over, so please continue to wear a mask, please vote, and maybe volunteer to go help at the polls. XOXO,
Yeah.
Thank you for everything. Love you all.
Joey, okay, well, I didn't write down notes to be able to do such a stellar job as you did, but you were one of I was your producer, and it was such a joy having you. And I remember telling you that Becca and I watched your audition video last season. It just like stuck in our soul. And we were like, we need to have that guy back. He has to be cast this season. And we were so glad that you joined us. It was just like so much fun, such a joy to have you. Normally I'd be crying at this point, but I just feel like a lot of love, like truly just feel like a lot of gratefulness and love. And yeah, I'm just so thankful that you did this. You're going to be great on the jury. I will be limiting you and Nick on time. Otherwise we'll never get through the whole damn thing. But yes, thank you for being here. And you will be juror number 5, I think. Yay. Okay. So last few notes are QI Reply is on right after this. It is going to be Carter, who is season 1 winner, and Gray from last season. I'm going to send them what the vote breakdown was so they can talk about it. And then letting all the contestants left know, tomorrow will be a challenge into instant banishment. So you can just plan ahead. We've got a schedule to keep up with, but it doesn't need to be a surprise. So just plan ahead for that. Otherwise, have a good night, everybody. Bye.